Today I'm taking you inside the Mdina Dungeons in Malta. I filmed everything you're about to see, so come along as we walk through these underground rooms and learn a bit about the island's past. This scene shows a beheading, a penalty reserved for treason. As soon as you step in, you can feel how old the place is.
To the given signal were rowed with great force in different directions. The lifeless, shattered corpses were then quartered and beheaded by the public executioner, and their dripping heads were placed on spikes on the nearby bastions. Others had their corpses burnt. 8 of the conspirators were branded on their forehead with the letter R signifying rebellion.
Let's go. I think there's a door, right? What? God damn. That's a lot. Everything here is meant to show how justice worked back then. People could be punished for breaking the law, or even just for upsetting the wrong person. Seeing these rooms up close makes you realize how different life used to be. The dungeons are right under the historic city, and they were used many years ago as prisons and places where people were questioned. As soon as you step in, you can feel how old the place is. Low ceilings, stone walls, and narrow corridors. The displays are simple, but they help you imagine what life must have been like for anyone who ended up down here. Some scenes represent the pillow, where people were locked in place and publicly humiliated. Sometimes the goal wasn't death, it was shame. Punishment was a spectacle, crowds gathered. Justice was something you could watch. One of the hardest things to imagine is that many of these punishments were publicly accepted forms of justice at the time. People could be accused without evidence, confessions were often forced, and depending on your social class, your fate could be completely different. The dungeons recreate scenes of shackling, whipping, and restraints used to keep prisoners silent, sometimes for days or months. This wasn't an era of fair trials. It was a time when justice was a performance, and pain was a language authorities relied on. You see scenes showing how prisoners were interrogated. The mannequins might look dramatic, but the methods they show are real. Simple ropes were turned into brutal devices. Prisoners were bound, lifted by their arms, or suspended in painful positions. The idea wasn't always to kill, but to break someone's will. These underground dungeons date back to the medieval Malta, and they were used through the rule of different powers, the Arabs, the Knights of St. John, and even the early years of the Inquisition. Mdina was once the island's political heart. Anyone accused of crimes, theft, treason, or simply angering the wrong noble could find themselves down here. Punishment wasn't just about law, it was a tool for control and fear. You can almost hear echoes from the past. The walls feel close, like they're holding on to every story they've witnessed. What's interesting about the Mdina Dungeons is that they're not here to glorify violence. They're here to remind us of how far humanity has come and how cruel we once were.
This date was chosen as it was customary.
Standing in these rooms with stone that absorbed centuries of suffering, it's impossible not to feel a mix of sadness and fascination. This is a part of history we don't always talk about, but it shaped the Malta we know today. It's not a big place, but every corner has something different. Old tools, chains, and figures showing different situations at the time. Some areas are a bit darker and narrower, and you really get a sense of what it must have felt like to be stuck here. The place isn't scary, but it is a little eerie because of how quiet and old it is. You see scenes of people being punished or held in different ways. It's all just models, of course, but it gives you an idea of the history and the kind of rules that existed back then. What I like about this place is that it's small. simple, and it's easy to walk through, but it still teaches you a lot. Even if you're not into history, it's interesting to see how things were done hundreds of years ago. The expressions and poses are a bit dramatic, but that's exactly how they show the history. Here's another scene with guards and prisoners. Every setup tells a little story about how things used to work back then. This one shows the punishment scene. Again, just models, but it shows the kind of rules and systems people lived under at the time. Some scenes are a bit harsher, but everything is done in the museum style. It's all about showing history, not trying to scare anyone. Here you can see another setup with prisoners in different positions. It's interesting how every room focuses on a different part of the old justice system. As I keep walking, there are even more models showing different moments. Guards watching, prisoners waiting, and different tools they used at the time. All the scenes together show how life worked here hundreds of years ago. It's definitely a unique way of telling the story. This is a short visit, but really interesting to walk through. And if you enjoyed this, watch my next video down here. You would definitely enjoy it.